back to the TWTL podcast. I'm Chris Ferris with TWTL Ministries, and this is our kickoff for Above All coverage. For those of you who don't know, Above All is the Easter production that the Pentecostals of Alexandria put on every year for the last few years. And it covers the life or the last days of Christ. There are some other parts of Christ's life that are peppered in at the beginning in a video, but it pretty much covers the last week of Christ's life and all of the actions that took place both by him and his followers and those who worked against him. And it's a really harrowing production. It's a very emotional production. It's a very spiritual production. And it's one that I've been involved in either as a frontline greeter or as a cast member. And last year I was a apostle. I was the Apostle Matthew. I guess you would call me a disciple at that point in the life of Christ. And I will also be a disciple again this year. I will be reprising my role as Matthew. I don't have any speaking lines, but there's some action sequences or acting sequences in there for me, besides just walking around and listening to Christ and nodding my head. But it's a great privilege to be a part of this production. But along the way, last year we did some recaps and some thoughts. It was kind of bare bones. I was coming out of because of the times, a little exhausted, and we were also trying to do some other stuff for the website. This year, most of our focus is going to be on Above All. We will do a couple other things for the website, but I want to focus as much on Above All as possible. I'm going to have a link in the description of the video that will take you to a written explanation of what our coverage is going to be for this year, especially for the schedule. If you want to see the schedule for when we're going to do things, that's the place to go. I'm not going to detail each one of our dates and when you can expect things to be uploaded. I can tell you that I believe it's 17 written recaps or previews along the way for Above All, and 9 YouTube videos, which will be mostly audio podcast style videos. But we might be able to get some video in there too. Probably not much, but some. So what I wanted to do on this podcast is kind of go over my thoughts about what I'm expecting for Above All, especially having coming out of the meeting last night. It was on the 8th of February for those who are watching this later. And first of all, it's going to be a lot different. Obviously, the life of Christ in the last 7 days of Christ, there's only so much you can cover in it. But the way in which you can present it can be different. The same integrity, Above All, is noted well for its integrity to the Scriptures. It would rather stick to the Scriptures than try to get too creative with an explanation here and there, or because you don't want to add to the Bible, of course, but you also you want the Scriptures to speak for themselves and to act out the Scriptures for themselves. And that's one thing that's led a lot of people to come forward to the altars in the end. If you've never been to Above All, usually every night the altars are full of people seeking God, whether it's a relationship with God or a touch of God, to help them in their relationship with Him. It's really special to watch such a spiritual response after a production. When a lot of times it's you clap your hands and you walk away feeling good about yourself, but there's not been a connection directly with God after you watch a movie about Christ or going to watch an Easter production about Christ all the time. It's not to say that those productions are bad or the movies are bad. It's just there's not that opportunity as readily available to you, and Above All offers that. Now, what's going to make this year's Above All different? Let's go through some of the changes. This is one of the main things out of the meeting last night, was that they detailed how the production was going to run from start to finish each night. Now, I'm not going to give you the item by item, because that would give some spoilers of when to expect things to happen, and you gotta be able to show up and see it. Now, if you're not going to be able to come to Above All, I will give a full recap towards the end. Now, you're not gonna be able to watch Above All, but if you're not able to come to Above All, we're gonna give you information that makes you feel like you're able to be there, just like it because of the times, as much as possible. Now, but for those of you who don't know, Above All, and this goes along with the changes to the production of Above All. Above All always opens up with a video, and it's a video that details where Israel was at the time that Christ came, leading up to when Christ came, and then some of the events of Christ's life and the things that made him stand out both to his followers and his detractors, and it all ends up leading up to those last days where the story kicks off. They've tweaked it a couple times since the first production a few years ago. Last year we actually had a scene in the middle and a song in the middle of the video production to try and break up the video, because the video is lengthy. I believe it's over 20 minutes long, and so when you're going to watch a live production and having a 20-minute video at the beginning, it can it alters your expectations, and it also can kind of drag you towards the beginning. Even as awesome and as an awe-inspiring presentation of a video, it can still kind of that's one of the things that has been a criticism of it, is that the video seems to be a little bit too long. Now, that being said, they're still going to have a video at the beginning to set the stage, but it's going to be much shorter. One of the reasons why it's going to be much shorter is they're going to try and bring some of the things from the video into the production, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But so there'll be a little bit less video, probably about half of the video. That's not confirmed, but probably about half the video. And with that, you get more action, or much more live acting, and so that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to get you into the live action scenes much quicker, and so I think that's going to help with the pacing of it. That's one of the things that I've thought about Above All. If you've read my original review of Above All, that was one of my concerns. I believe it's one of the things that a lot of people have had concerns about, is that the length of the video. That's not going to be the case anymore. Another thing is that there's going to be some flashback sequences. Now, one that I'll tell you about right now for sure is there's going to be miracles that Christ is going to perform. That's one of the other detractions, is that while they showed miracles in the video production, and they alluded to them in the past, and I believe they even performed one in the very original Above All production, there's not a lot of miracles. And one of the reasons is there's not a lot of talk about miracles in the Bible in the last 7 days. So to compensate for that, while sticking to the integrity of the Scriptures, they're going to have a flashback sequence. And it's going to be, I don't know all the details of it yet, but it's going to be very cool. I'm not going to tell you all the different types of miracles that Christ's going to perform, but it's going to be very neat. And I think it's going to definitely, I'm not going to tell you where it's positioned at, but where it's positioned at is going to actually help bring the production up a notch. So it's going to be, I think, one of the more, and the way in which they're going to do it as well, there's a few caveats that I just can't get into right now because I don't want to give you spoilers, but it's going to be one word, interactive. And so and taking the stage three-dimensionally, four-dimensionally, or however you want to put it, to the audience. So look forward to that. It's going to be one of the biggest changes to Above All, in my opinion, and I think it's going to be one of the most impactful and powerful moments in the production. Definitely the most powerful new moment in the production. Another thing is there's some new songs that are going to freshen things up. And the reason why, Above All has done a very good job. The directors and the music people for Above All have done a very good job of continually looking to try and improve the music. Not to say the old music in Above All was bad, but music changes. Music tastes change, and you want to, when you find something that is new and fresh, you want to implement it. They did it in Messiah throughout the years, and they're doing it in Above All, and I applaud them for that. I think it's going to be awesome. The new songs, I think, are going to definitely benefit the new direction with the new scenes and the new way in which the play is going to be structured. So I'm looking forward to that, and I think you will too. One of the other things is that this is the first year that Above All will be happening on the road. Above All is going to another city. I'm not going to say the city right now. If you've already heard about it, then you've already heard about it. But you'll know more when we get closer to it. I'll reveal it when it gets closer to it. I just don't want to. I haven't heard that they've announced it at the church yet, and I don't want to spoil anything for the church in case somebody coming from that church comes to this YouTube channel or reads on our website or something like that. But it's going to be an awesome honor. I get to be a part of that because it deals with the disciples, and it's going to be. There's a couple scenes that we're involved in that will be performed at this church, and once it gets closer, I can tell you what it's going to be. That today we're going to leave that on the in the spoiler bin and not reveal it. There's going to be more to come. As our coverage continues, we'll reveal a little bit here, show a little bit there. We don't want to over inundate you with information in one video or one post. And then also, we don't want to spoil things for people. But as we get closer and closer and there's a little bit more comfort level with sharing ideas and thoughts, we will. But most of what we're going to be sharing with is our experience, my experience personally. My wife's also going to be in Above All, so I'm going to try and see if I can get her to share her experience, or at least allow me to share her experience for you. I'll be asking other people that are inside the production what their experience is like with Above All. But I'm just very excited about it. And as we go along, we'll reveal some more stuff. And like I said, as far as the schedule goes, I've got the link in the description here in the video. You can head over to TWTLministries.com. And on the Compass page, the post is called Above All 2018 Coverage Schedule. And it's got it. And we're going to have coverage every week for the next 2 months, basically. And we're going to try, it doesn't have it on there, but we're going to try and do some other stuff as well. Like I promised, we're going to be covering John Piper's book, A Peculiar Glory. I've already read it. I read it actually over a year ago, and it was profound. It's a really awesome way of looking at the Bible and the truth of God's Word and the truth of God's deity. I'm going to review that and also compare it to other books that I've read about the deity of Jesus and the truth of the Bible. So I look forward to doing that. I'm going to try and get that video out next week, but look forward to a lot of Above All coverage in the next couple months. And as much as I can give you, I will. If you have any thoughts or questions, please leave them in the comments. I'm Chris Ferris. This has been TWTL Ministries. I'll tell you this right now, look for our next YouTube video. Before I sign off, I'll give you all that. If you don't get to make it over to the website today, our first YouTube video for this will be February 19th, which is 10 days away. That will detail our week 1 thoughts of practices. You can also go to the website on the 15th and the 17th. We'll be doing some written recaps of our rehearsals. All these dates are subject to change, but look on our channel for that. Like I said, the John Piper video will probably be up before that as well, so come back and go through our whole catalog on our channel. Go through our whole catalog on our website. All that content's free. You can go to our Patreon page. All of our posts on Patreon are free now. You can consider donating to us on Patreon. That'd be great. It's only $1 now to support us on Patreon. That would help us with payments for our website. Also, any other kind of expenditures we have for keeping up our website, keeping up all of our other stuff that we're involved in. Also go to our Facebook page. We've got links for all of that in the description. And like us and share us to everybody that you can, because we want to get this community up. We want to create a Christian presence on YouTube. And right now is the perfect time to get people turned on to it, because we're going through something. We're giving you behind the scenes information about probably the most spiritually impactful Easter production ever, because I've never seen one that has the reactions that Above All has. And I've watched Messiah, and I've been to other Easter productions. I've watched great movies, and none of them have the reaction that Above All has. I'm excited to cover it for the second year in a row, and to give the most extensive coverage that TWTL has given to any other event. I'm very excited about this. So I look forward to hearing from y'all in the comments. I look forward to catching y'all back here on the YouTube channel, catching you on the website. I'm Chris Ferris. This is TWTL Ministries. God bless. Keep searching.